This year, the United States of America will host the 60th anniversary presidential elections. The struggle will unfold between representatives of the main political forces, the Republican and Democratic parties, since 1853. Only candidates from these two parties have become President of the United States. The official nomination of candidates will take place in the summer. The election race in the United States started on January 23, when the first intra-party primary elections, the primaries of the Democratic and Republican parties, took place in New Hampshire. The victory was expected to be won by Biden and Trump. Based on the results of Super Tuesday, a forecast can be made. Unless something extraordinary happens by November, the situation of 4 years ago will be repeated one by one. Trump and Biden will once again come together in a battle for the presidency, and voters will again decide which of them is worse. And all this against the background of economic problems in the country. In the fall, Americans will have to choose a new president. The next presidential election will be held on November 5, 2024. As already mentioned, the current leader of the country, Joe Biden, and the previous one, Donald Trump, are participating in the election race. If the second one takes the presidency, then it will be a real gift for Russia, the newspaper Le Figaro said. Donald Trump's position is that the United States should distance itself from the general global processes and go into internal problems. It is necessary to develop the economy independently and solve migration problems. First of all, America, rather than its domination, no matter how paradoxical it may sound. Donald Trump is a challenge for the entire international community. First of all, because the departure from American hegemonic stability leads to the fact that many European and Asian states are not just abandoned to their fate, but they will begin the process of moving away from external, financial, political, military and geopolitical patronage. Therefore, for many in the European Union and in a number of Southeast Asian countries, there is a feeling that the arrival of Trump will change everything. Under this key, everything is served that the arrival of Trump is a gift to Vladimir Putin, because America will leave the international arena, and Ukraine will remain one-on-one with Russia. This is a stereotypical position. This is the reasoning of most of the international establishment, starting from the media and ending with citizens. Let's see how true this information is. Joe Biden announced plans to run for a second term in April 2023. He stated that he intends to save American democracy, which is in danger because of Trump. Joe Biden is running for president for the fourth time. His first attempt was made before the collapse of the USSR. According to the second article of the Constitution, there is no upper age limit among the requirements for candidates. Americans from the age of 35 who have lived in the country for 14 years have the right to run for President of the United States. But the electorate has questions about Biden's age. He has already become the oldest President of the United States, taking office on January 20, 2021. When he took the oath of office of the head of state on the Bible, he was 78 years old. If he wins the next election, he will take office at the age of 82, and by the end of his term, he will be 86 years old. Biden became the oldest American president in history. Therefore, his age scares both voters and fellow Democrats. But Joe Biden is the only politician capable of defeating Trump today. Joe Biden is a successful politician, but he is over 80 years old, and he looks and sounds his age, wrote the Financial Times. According to the FT, Biden's decision to run again is partly motivated by the feeling that he has a unique qualification to defeat Trump and eliminate the threat to American democracy. After all, he has already won this victory once. Recent polls show that he will emerge victorious from the fight with Trump again, albeit with a small margin. The Financial Times emphasizes that unlike Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, Biden is not a privileged member of the elite, but comes from the middle class, which attracts more voters. He also has a trump card for voters who once supported Trump, but were disappointed in him. Biden remains committed to the reindustrialization of the United States. This echoes Trump's promise to make America great again. Biden managed to push through landmark laws, including the $1 trillion Infrastructure Act, the largest climate package in U.S. history, and a document allowing for increased domestic semiconductor production. But at the same time, Biden's age makes him a potential liability for Democrats. The party will be wary of Biden's sudden health problems or some kind of statement confirming Republican claims that the president's mental abilities have weakened. Biden's rating plummeted in the fall of 2021 due to the chaotic withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan and the onset of hyperinflation in the United States. Since then, there have been no significant improvements in the rating. High-profile lawsuits can also become an obstacle for Trump. Against this background, Thus, elections attract the attention of people both in the states themselves and around the world. Analysts and experts are trying to predict the outcome of the vote, but it is obvious that it is impossible to name the next president of the United States now. Biden has a good chance of retaining the presidency. Here we can highlight certain successes of the administration of the current head of state. Created jobs for Americans, secured very serious interests of the energy lobby and the military-industrial complex, but at the same time, the aggravation of the situation with illegal migrants on the border with Mexico will certainly affect the votes of voters. In general, in recent years, experts have been able to name the winner closer to elections with a high degree of probability, although there are surprises. As an example, we can cite the 2016 campaign, when almost everyone predicted the presidency of Hillary Clinton, and in the end Donald Trump won. The election of the head of state of the United States is of great importance not only for the country itself, but also for the whole world. The decisions made by the President of the United States have a global impact on world politics, economics and security. The United States is one of the world's leading powers, and its policies can influence events in various regions outside America. The President's decisions on fiscal policy, trade, taxation and other economic issues can affect the global economy. Many countries of the world depend on economic stability in the United States. This concerns international trade and the role of the dollar as the main reserve currency, despite the fact that in recent years more and more countries have been striving for de-dollarization. The United States can influence the economies of other countries by imposing trade restrictions, for example, for China, or by extending sanctions to industries or entire countries, as in the case of Russia after the start of the military operation in Ukraine. Thus, authorities and businesses can also influence the energy market, for example, by imposing various restrictions on fuel from Russia, Iran or Venezuela. In addition, problems in the economy can lead to global financial crises, as it was in 2008. The President makes decisions on foreign policy, including national security issues, anti-terrorist operations and participation in international conflicts. The United States continues to maintain military contingents in Iraq and Syria, and participates in missile and bomb attacks on the Houthis in Yemen. The President appoints judges to the Supreme Court, which can affect the legal system and decisions on important issues. Court decisions can provoke a split in society, as it was in the summer of 2022, when the Supreme Court ruled that termination of pregnancy can be classified as a crime, although abortion had been recognized as a constitutional right of any American woman for half a century before. The President's position on social issues, health, education, equality and the fight against racism, the carrying of weapons, drug and migration crises has an impact on society within the country. The policy on combating climate change and other environmental issues adopted by this President may have an impact on solving these problems.